You're listening to Get Abstract, the world's biggest collection of summaries.
This is a summary of How the Future Works, a book by Brian Elliott, Sheila Subramanian, and Helen Kupp. The COVID pandemic's lockdowns compromised companies globally. The world of business had to continue, so people began to work from home and set their own schedules. Employees loved these new arrangements. Remote work became many people's preference, and teams began to function as remote or hybrid collectives. An ad hoc solution that began as a response to an emergency is now how business gets done. Brian Elliott, Sheila Subramanian, and Helen Kupp explore how companies can manage this new world of work with flexibility and effectiveness. They advocate continuing collaboration between employers and employees post-pandemic and show how flexible teamwork can prevail. Okay, let's hear the first takeaway. Traditional office work is obsolete. Flexible work arrangements allowing employees to work remotely with independent schedules were once a privilege only for top performers, if even for them. Most organizations wanted employees to work in local offices and follow rigid schedules. That's how things had always been. Management thinkers believed office work fostered collaboration and enabled employees to benefit from each other's knowledge and experience. Wouldn't productivity, innovation, and profits suffer if employees didn't work together? How could managers supervise workers who didn't share the same office? Then, in 2019, COVID-19 changed everything. It quickly shut down offices, and millions of employees began to work from home. Did productivity suffer? In fact, the new flexible work model increased productivity. Creativity and innovation flourished. Today, many employees love the independence of working from home. Recruiting has never been easier. For organizations, this means accepting significant change, and it remains unlikely work will ever entirely return to its former format. Here's the second takeaway. Former measures of productivity are no longer effective and never worked well anyway. The methods used in the past to measure work productivity were never really effective. Now, due to the novel work arrangements COVID ushered in, those older productivity measures no longer work at all. For example, supervisors once could stay on top of things by noting how many employees showed up each day. That's easy when the workforce comes to the same place every day, but impossible when most employees work from home. Managing productivity by walking around doesn't work when one employee is in Indianapolis and the other is in Albuquerque and another is on an island somewhere. And merely seeing your employees show up doesn't tell you what they're doing. They could be calling or texting friends, buying something online, or engaging in a million other non-work activities. Most employees in most offices do their jobs, but managers still need to know how much they're doing and how well. Time for takeaway number 3. Follow 7 steps to retrofit your company for the new future of work. Many organizations think that flexibility would be ideal, but a full, radical transformation can't happen unless management takes 7 challenging steps. Before embarking on this change, company leaders must agree on the course they want to follow. This is a competitive imperative. Firms that won't or can't change will get left behind by companies that find innovative ways for their employees to keep working in the manner they prefer. All right, here's the 4th takeaway. Step 1. Operate according to a firm set of principles. Companies need a firm set of flexibility work principles to guide important decisions and actions related to providing maximum employee flexibility. Because workplace flexibility is a relatively new and often untried dynamic, finding the best way to implement related practices and processes requires considerable discussion. Your principles should guide these discussions. Providing schedule and location flexibility can become overly complex and have perplexing ramifications. Establishing principles and practices proves useful and efficient. Heed these tips. First, make team-level autonomy your flexibility watchword. Offer access to a flexible schedule to everyone. Try different approaches, and then adapt and learn from your mistakes. Second, companies can be flexible in different ways. Don't limit flexibility at your firm to only remote work issues. Third, don't implement a one-size-fits-all flexibility plan across your entire organization. The approach that works best in accounting, for example, probably isn't appropriate for the sales department. Fourth, establish and sustain fair collaboration. As appropriate for your workflows and projects, extend collaboration to all employees at all times and everywhere. Fifth, employ a digital-first mentality. This works for employee flexibility policies as well as other initiatives. And finally, your flexibility imperative has greater goals. Keeping your people happy is crucial, but bear in mind that the right flexible schedule also will boost your bottom line. Okay, we can move on to the fifth takeaway. Step 2. Establish behavioral guidelines to ensure maximum flexibility for employees. While core principles are vital to maximize worker flexibility, companies must also develop behavioral guidelines for workplace practices, leadership, and corporate culture to create an environment in which everyone applies core principles equitably. For example, Slack has a rule that promotes a one dials in, all dial in policy. This means all employees must participate in their team's remote meetings, even if they dial in from their desk in a Slack office. Leaders at IBM used social media to promote a list of work-from-home WFH norms for all employees. Organizations should avoid faux flexibility, such as posting seemingly flexible policies that aren't really flexible and don't promote employee autonomy. Now for the sixth takeaway, step 3. Don't dictate flexible work policies to your employees. Secure their agreement as you develop policies. Organizations should not arbitrarily promulgate top-down flexibility directives, although many do, including Apple and Google. Do not introduce new flexibility procedures by issuing rules, orders, or edicts. The concept of top-down has nothing to do with flexibility. Gain input from everyone on your team about which arrangement will work best for each person, and proceed from there. Make sure flexibility arrangements are available for and created with the collaboration of both experienced employees and your newer hires. The best vehicle for flexibility planning is the Team-Level Agreement, TLA. This planning document builds trust and provides flexibility by focusing on staying in touch with each team member about values, schedules and meetings, accountability, and relationships. Okay, let's continue. Here's takeaway number 7. Step 4. Experiment with flexible scheduling to find a solution that works for your company. Flexibility is new and potentially confusing for many organizations. And to compound the challenges, there's no reliable blueprint for introducing flexibility at your firm. So why not experiment? Try various approaches to see what works best. Identify various flexibility challenges. Engage in major testing. Amass substantial data and gauge your myriad outcomes. Persist in your experimentation until you discover what works. Don't expect to uncover any perfect data point or external benchmark that will demonstrate with 100% certainty that any given arrangement is perfect. Invest in a cheerful trial and error process that includes no mistakes, only options. We've now reached takeaway number 8, step 5. Create virtual connection cultures employees will love. Like most commercial giants, the leading technology firms built impressive physical headquarters and sprawling campuses to dazzle the technical geniuses they wanted to hire, and to make their employees feel at home and part of an empire. Firms can create the most sparkling virtual spaces for themselves that will entice new employees to join their ranks. Handled correctly, your virtual spaces can nourish a connected culture that benefits everyone. Research indicates that numerous benefits derive from feelings of connection, including cognitive enhancement, better physical health, and improved emotional well-being. Despite prevailing and mistaken attitudes and beliefs, flexible virtual workspaces improve employee feelings of connection and belonging. Research indicates that employees who benefit from time flexibility experience a strong feeling of belonging and increased job satisfaction. Conventional thinking assumes that people working together spark each other's creativity. In fact, the spaces in which people work have almost nothing to do with how creative they will be. Let's now hear the 9th takeaway, step 6. Improve your skills to manage effectively in a virtual work environment. The migration of workers from offices to virtual work has revealed weak managers who don't have the soft skills needed to deal with these changes. With this in mind, firms must work to improve their managers' skills. For example, Slack initiated Basecamp training for its managers. Select managers who have strong leadership reputations, have earned impressive retention rates, and head teams everyone wants to join. Today's ideal managers aren't gatekeepers or clock watchers. Instead, they should be coaches who lead their employees with empathy. Top managers create trust, establish clarity, and help their employees in the office or remotely achieve their potential. Time for another takeaway, step 7. Avoid the doom loop and adopt the boom loop. Organizations that rely on constant overt monitoring of their employees fall prey to the doom loop. Typical doom loop monitoring is a time waster that checks meaningless boxes, produces pointless metrics, generates employee attrition, and diminishes trust. Companies should demonstrate their trust in their employees and not watch them every second. Deal forthrightly with your workers, detailing shared goals and providing the support they need. This is the boom loop, the ideal counter to the dreaded doom loop. Okay, let's hear the 11th takeaway. Monitor your employees' work progress, not their work activities. Instead of monitoring employees' hours, monitor their progress on measurable goals and definable projects. Companies can use the RACI matrix system to track the responsible employees who will do specific jobs, the accountable employees who approve their individual work, the employees who must be consulted regarding the work, and the employees whom the company must keep informed about a project's progress. Constantly surveilling employees lowers morale. No one likes to be watched. Research indicates that 50% of strictly monitored workers experience notable anxiety compared to only 7% of employees who are not subject to regular monitoring. And now for the final takeaway. Employees want and need flexibility. Flexible work will prevail as the norm. Employees want and expect flexible schedules which give your company a strong competitive advantage and boost recruitment. Flexible policies encourage productivity and innovative collaboration, as well as nurturing work-life balance. That was a summary of How the Future Works, a book by Brian Elliott, Sheila Subramanian, and Helen Cupp. Here's the 12 takeaways one more time. Takeaway number 1, traditional office work is obsolete. Takeaway number 2, former measures of productivity are no longer effective and never worked well anyway. Takeaway number 3, follow 7 steps to retrofit your company for the new future of work. The 4th takeaway, step 1, operate according to a firm set of principles. Takeaway 5, step 2, establish behavioral guidelines to ensure maximum flexibility for employees. Takeaway 6, step 3, don't dictate flexible work policies to your employees. Secure their agreement as you develop policies. Takeaway 7, step 4. Experiment with flexible scheduling to find a solution that works for your company. Takeaway number 8, step 5. Create virtual connection cultures employees will love. Takeaway 9, step 6. Improve your skills to manage effectively in a virtual work environment. Takeaway 10, step 7. Avoid the doom loop and adopt the boom loop. Takeaway number 11. Monitor your employees' work progress, not their work activities. And the final takeaway. Employees want and need flexibility.
You've been listening to a summary by Get Abstract. For more summaries on this and related topics, visit our app and website,